Hi everyone. I know I have an eclectic channel, and that's okay. Today, just a really quick opinion. I am a boxing fan. I was a large boxing fan. Big fan for a lot of years. Um, but I kind of tailed off. I tailed off for a little while. Regardless, um, last night, I ponied up like everybody else, and well, maybe not everybody else. I ponied up like a lot of people, and I went and ordered the Pacquiao Barrios fight, and the card was decent. The fights were decent. I haven't been keeping up with with it the way I used to, and I didn't watch Usyk Dubois. I did have Usyk winning the fight in my opinion, and then he scores the knockout. So not that that's anticlimactic. But I didn't watch, and I have all the respect in the world for Alexander Usyk as one of the best fighters in a heck of a long time, And I did take him over Anthony Joshua way back when, though, so a little bit pat on my own back. But about the Manny Pacquiao Barrios fight, some interesting feedback on social media this morning. I watched the fight, and it might have been around 5 or 6, and I thought, they're gonna land in a draw in this thing, and I nailed it, and I didn't. Wasn't surprised because on the one hand, it's that old thing where to beat the champ, you got to really beat the champ, and even if it's Manny Pacquiao against Mario Barrios, it's a champion versus a current non-champion. So we have a situation where to beat the champ, you gotta beat the champ. People typically feel that way. Most people typically agree with that. If it goes to the scorecards and it was even close, you're probably not going to strip a champ unless it was really one-sided. It's not a rule. It just seems to happen a lot. And then you also got to think about, on the other hand, Manny Pacquiao has had an interesting experience with the scorecards and with judges in general. You think back to the Tim Bradley stuff. If you recall, controversial decision, controversial decisions. The Bradley fight. I see him. I see him beating. I see Pacquiao winning every time I watch it. Don't watch it without the volume on. Does anyone remember that? Anyway, so Pacquiao doesn't have the best experience with things going to the scorecard, with fights going to the scorecards. But last night he didn't dominate Mario Barrios. He did not. He he looked really good in spurts, and he looked excellent for a 46-year-old guy. He's my age. He looked fantastic, considering his age, and he looked fantastic even not considering his age. He wasn't in there, over his head by any stretch. A lot of people say he won the fight. I could see that. I still was okay with a draw. But my point here, sorry it's taken me more than 3 minutes to get there. My point is, for Mario Barrios, except for the payday, which I should check how much he got paid. It's a great payday, right? It's a fantastic payday. It's got to be, and he gets to fight a legend. But in some ways, this was kind of unwinnable. In some ways, and I'll try to tell you why. If he wins, all he's done is what he's supposed to do, and it's a 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao. So even on the resume, it's got an asterisk. It's not quite Manny Pacquiao per se. It's 2025 Manny Pacquiao, who should be, you know, still a politician, perhaps, even though he's great again. So you got this situation. If you're Barrios, if you win, you beat a legend, undoubtedly a legend, Hall of Famer, literally. But he was 46 already, and you were kind of supposed to do that. If you beat him kind of badly, knock him out or whatever, perhaps you were disrespectful of a legend, and perhaps you internally don't want to be disrespectful of a legend. So there's two reasons why it's not a good situation for you. And then if you lose, yes, you lost to Manny Pacquiao, so you lost to a legend. But you lost to a legend who hadn't been in the ring for, was it 4 years? And again, 46. How many times am I going to say that? And people were saying he was overly cautious or overly respectful. He was definitely respectful, but he was very, again, maybe overly respectful because if he gets knocked out by a 46-year-old Pacquiao, even though he's, Manny Pacquiao and he's a legend and all those things, he got knocked out by a guy who's closer to 50 than not. So everyone, I did see a lot of comments about people saying like he didn't open up and he didn't go at him and he wasn't aggressive enough. It's not really his way in the first place, but secondly, he was overly respectful and overly cautious. Two sides of the same coin, perhaps. The respectful part, like I said, it's a legend. It's an older legend. He is, he looks up to him. It's such a big, awe-inspiring moment to be in the ring with him for Mario Barrios. It's a big deal, even though he's tremendously accomplished as well. It's still this is how things work, right? You're in the ring with someone that you looked up to while you were on your way up, and so there's that high respect factor, and then there's the genuine caution factor that I'm gonna let this old man knock me the f out. It's scary in that regard too. There's that. So I don't know that there was some whisperings about it being some kind of fix. I don't think it was a fix. I just think that Barrios might have not been interested in attacking in the way that would leave him vulnerable. And then oddly enough, part of his mind he might not have even wanted to be bloodying up Pacquiao too badly. So I just see it as a very challenging kind of dynamic for Mario Barrios in that he can't win in a good way in this fight. Not really. If he wins again, once again I repeat myself, if he wins, it's Manny Pacquiao as an aged version of him, a very old, inactive version of Manny Pacquiao. And if he loses, holy cow, he lost to a guy that has 4 years layoff. I don't care what a legend he is. You're the champion. Can't really win. You can't really win in this, even though he wins. Technically retains his title by getting the draw. If they have a rematch, I'm not sure which way it would go. I'm really not sure which way it would go if they rematch because you give an older Pacquiao a chance to continue his development, or he gets old overnight, like they say, which by now he probably should have been anyway. But you also give Barrios a chance to clear out all those starstruck moments that might have kept him from just plowing through. And I don't know. And I don't know if what I just said contradicts my own comments. But I did want to mention that I don't think it was some kind of fix. I just think that the dynamic made it very difficult for Barrios more than for Pacquiao. I think the dynamic makes it very challenging. And maybe a draw, maybe the best way to go. And if it wasn't going to probably produce gate and revenue for streams and whatnot, I wouldn't even think that a rematch is coming, but there'll probably be a rematch. Anyway, been a long time since I dove into boxing. I thought I would dive into something a little more, just fun. All right, thanks a lot. Let me know your thoughts.